Rigoletto by Giuseppe Verdi. The synopsis is presented by Opera Inside, the online opera guide. The roles: Rigoletto, court jester of the Duke of Mantova. Gilda, his daughter. Sperafugili, assassin. Maddalena, his sister. Duca, Duke of Mantova. Ceprano, count and courtier, husband of the Countess Ceprano. Marullo, courtier. Monteroni, count and father. In the palace of the Duke of Mantova, a great feast is in progress. The Duke talks to the Count of Borsa about a mysterious bourgeois woman, whom he has been observing for some time. But the Duke does not want to commit himself to any woman. Too many temptations keep the restless seducer busy. The Countess of Ceprano is also one of the chosen ones. She wants to leave the feast. The Duke wants to persuade her to stay. Rigoletto, a hunchbacked and unsightly court jester, mocks the Count of Ceprano publicly as cheated husband. Suddenly a news is announced. Rigoletto is said to have a lover. Ceprano, the doubly humiliated man, swears revenge on the sharp-tongued Rigoletto. The Count of Monteroni enters the palace. Rigoletto also mocks him because his daughter is one of the Duke's lovers and she has lost her honor. The Duke orders the arrest of the intruder. The Count curses Rigoletto and the Duke, with the words, "Who mock at a father's grief, my curse be upon you." Horrified, Rigoletto leaves the palace. In the street at night, Rigoletto encounters the assassin Sperafugili. He offers his services to Rigoletto. Rigoletto memorizes his name but has no assignment for the time being. Rigoletto is desperate about his fate. With his deformed, hunchbacked body he is doomed to the role of court jester. He goes to his daughter's house, the only ray of hope in his life. Nobody knows about his daughter Gilda. She even doesn't know her father's name, to prevent that the secret might be discovered. Rigoletto has forbidden her to leave the house. Only an occasional walk into the church is allowed. Suddenly Rigoletto hears a noise. The Duke was observing them and manages to hide quickly enough. She is the unknown bourgeois and he had followed her during her last church visits and now wanted to visit her. From his hideout he hears them talking and he learns that his jester is her father. When Rigoletto leaves his daughter, Gilda is stricken with remorse that she has told her father nothing about the young man who persecuted her during her church visits. At this moment the Duke appears. They confess their love to each other. The Duke masquerades as a student with the name Gilde. They hear noise from outside. The Duke has to leave. Meanwhile courtiers have appeared under the leadership of Marullo and Ceprano. They encounter Rigoletto. They hide behind masks. Only Marullo reveals himself to Rigoletto. They propose to kidnap the Countess Ceprano for fun. Rigoletto happily joins them and gets a mask. Without him noticing, a cloth is tied around his eyes. While Rigoletto holds them the ladder, they kidnap Rigoletto's supposed lover. When the kidnappers are already gone, Rigoletto tears his mask off his head. Horrified, he has to realize that his daughter has been kidnapped. In the Duke's palace, the Duke has realized that Gilda had been kidnapped and he swears revenge. Courtiers appear and triumphantly tell the Duke about the kidnapping. The Duke recognizes that it is his lover. She is carried into the palace. The Duke has her brought into his room. Rigoletto appears in the palace. He suspects that his dog must be there. He is mocked by the courtiers and hides his pain. Rigoletto realizes that the courtiers have surrendered his daughter to the Count. He accuses them of having sold her father's holiest possession. Gilda appears and has to confess to her father that she has lost her honor. She tells the story of Gualtier. Guards appear. The Count of Monteroni is taken to the dungeon. At his sight, Rigoletto swears revenge on the Duke. Rigoletto leads his daughter Gilda to a shabby inn on a river. The two approach the house and peer through a hole in the wall. Sperafugili sits at a table. His sister Maddalena has lured the Duke in. The two watch how the Duke enters the room to spend a night with Maddalena. While the Duke is courting Maddalena, Gilda realizes that the Duke is constantly betraying her. Rigoletto sends his daughter home with the order to flee to Verona, disguised with men's clothes. Rigoletto leaves to get a boat. The Duke goes up to his room. Meanwhile, Gilda has secretly returned in men's clothes. She eavesdrops on Sparafugili's conversation with Maddalena. The two discuss the murder plan. Maddalena wants the unknown to be spared. Sparafugili wants the money. They agree that they would kill a stranger and put him in a sack if someone showed up, otherwise the guest would have to die. Gilda recognizes the situation and wants to sacrifice herself. She enters the inn and Sparafugili stabs the unknown. Rigoletto approaches the inn with a boat to pick up the bag with the Duke's body. He pays Sparafugili and leaves with the boat. When he is about to throw the sack into the river, he suddenly hears the Duke's voice from afar. He cuts the bag open. To his horror, he must realize that his daughter's body is in the bag. Gilda is dying and asks her father for forgiveness. When she dies, Rigoletto calls. Ah, it is the curse.
www.operinside.com. All about operas. Learn more about this great opera, with interesting facts and great YouTube videos. Visit us.